Welcome to a full review of the Norwegian Bliss. Launched in 2018 as part of Norwegian's Breakaway class, the Bliss was specifically designed for the Alaskan market, though it sails globally now. The Bliss is a massive vessel spanning 20 decks and stretching over 1,000 feet in length, with a guest capacity of roughly 4,000 passengers at max occupancy. While the Bliss is nearly 8 years old now, the ship feels remarkably modern. The Breakaway class is known for its more is more philosophy, more dining, more activities, and more outdoor space. But does more actually mean better? Getting on the ship was surprisingly effortless. We selected the earliest arrival time from 11 to 11:30 a.m., leaving from San Pedro right outside of Los Angeles, and I highly recommend others do the same. Not only will that maximize your time on the ship, but most people tend to arrive around noon or 1 p.m., so by going early, we bypass the massive crowds that I've been accustomed to in the past. Security felt like a light version of TSA. It's definitely faster than an airport, but they can be strict with drinks and food. We saw several people having to toss out unopened bottled water and home-packed snacks. So if you want to bring water or soda on board, definitely check Norwegian's current beverage policy, as they generally require you to buy their filtered water packages instead of bringing your own. One of Norwegian's biggest selling points is the More at Sea promotion. It's almost always included in your fare for free. This usually consists of a $50 shore excursion credit, two $50 specialty dining credits, and 75 minutes of basic Wi-Fi per person. In an industry that is increasingly moving towards a pay-per-item, this is a big differentiator in my opinion. Most specialty restaurants on the Bliss, like Cagney's or Le Bistro, cost between $40 and $60. So with your credits, you're essentially just paying the gratuity for a meal that would otherwise cost $120 for a couple. As for the Wi-Fi, Norwegian usually charges upwards of $35 a day. If you don't need to be on TikTok all day and just want to check emails, those 75 free minutes are plenty if you're disciplined about logging off. For more details, definitely check my separate Norwegian Wi-Fi review video. So what makes the Bliss special from all other cruise ships out there? To me, the answer is most obviously the observation lounge. This space is incredible. It's a massive 270-degree wraparound lounge located at the front of Deck 15. While other ships have some equivalent of an observation lounge, not a ton matches the observation lounge's level of grandeur, panoramic views, and floor-to-ceiling windows. The lounge is essentially a massive living room for the whole ship. The upholstery and the floor-to-ceiling windows create a serene and upscale atmosphere that you'd normally only find in the Haven or even on a luxury line. In the mornings, the lounge serves a light continental breakfast. My personal favorite was the flavored mango yogurt. They also have a great tea selection and a dedicated bar. The center of the lounge consists of the bar and a small stage, which is lively at night. You'll hear live piano music or light trivia, but as you walk towards the wings or the sides of the ship, the music fades out, offering some peace, allowing you to nap, read, or work on the laptop. It's a really good sanctuary, especially on sea days when the main pool deck can be chaotic. In terms of seating, the most popular seating is at the front of the lounge, since that provides unfettered access to the front of the ship. However, the seating on the two sides of the lounge are underrated because while they're less popular, they're more suitable for a group of people given the prevalence of L-shaped sofas and a tighter cluster of lounge seating. Despite Norwegian's reputation for upcharging, the Bliss offers a surprising amount of free food. Beyond the garden cafe and the main dining rooms, you have the local bar and grill, which is your 24/7 spot for comfort food. They serve things like sandwiches, fish and chips, and wings. It's situated overlooking the atrium, so it's great for people watching. Then there's the American Diner on Deck 17. It's styled like a classic 1950s diner with car-shaped booths. They serve burgers, sliders, and nachos. It's a great alternative when you don't want the buffet food. My personal favorite was the smoked fish dip and the pork sliders. I also have to give Norwegian props for the ship's layout. Navigating the Bliss is really easy. Unlike some other ships where a deck is suddenly blocked by a dining room or a theater, the Bliss has clear corridors. The decor is understated and elegant, with a lot of ocean-inspired art that makes the ship feel cohesive and relaxed. Moving on to the entertainment, which I found to be a bit of a mixed bag. Our week featured a rotating schedule, a Beatles tribute, a comedy magic show, and the headliner production The Choir of Man. While not surprising, these headliner acts are all tailored to the baby boomer generation, so if you're in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s, you might not jive with the production shows as much. If you're coming from a line like Celebrity, you might find that the production value here is a bit safe. There are no high-flying aerialists or avant-garde Cirque-style shows. The skill level, while professional, felt a notch below the wow factor of other premium lines. However, The Choir of Man was a genuine highlight. It's set in a pub, and its high energy and the talent is fantastic. Moving on to the service on this sailing wasn't bad per se, but of lower average quality and consistency than what I've experienced on Princess or Celebrity. The staff often seemed overwhelmed, or on some occasions even curt. We had a few communication breakdowns, the most notable being at the local bar and grill, where we ordered 1 plate of 6 wings and was mistakenly served 6 full orders of 36 chicken wings. Other examples include Palomar bringing us the wrong dessert item, the Manhattan Room forgetting what we ordered for apps and entrees, and the Garden Cafe giving us the wrong ice cream flavor at the ice cream line. You also feel the nickel and diming in the food quality. On other lines, things like smoked salmon are a buffet staple. On the Bliss, it was missing from the Garden Cafe for breakfast. We did find smoked salmon at the sit-down breakfast and taste, but it's served as a small plated portion rather than something you can load up on. They also clearly skimp on premium proteins. There's no oxtail, no duck, and certain seafood was never present in the buffet. Breakfast was also somewhat of a letdown in the buffet. At first glance, the Garden Cafe looks huge with a lot of breakfast items, but it's really an illusion. They have 6 or 7 different omelet stations, which is great for avoiding lines, but these stations just repeat the same basic items over and over. I miss the international variety you see on other ships. There was no dedicated Asian congee stations or full English breakfast setups. It ended up feeling very repetitive by day 3. Also, their corned beef hash wasn't your traditional corned beef hash, but just cheap cuts of steak mixed in with potatoes. For our room, we ended up booking a balcony cabin. The room was decently impressive. The beds were plush, and the walls were surprisingly soundproof, in part thanks to the heavy double-pane balcony doors. Speaking of the balcony, it's spacious and private, and if you're like us, doubled as a great spot to dry laundry. Storage was also a pretty big win. There were clever nooks by the bed and cabinets by the TV, so we didn't feel that cramped with 3 people's gear. However, in terms of the cons, the tech did feel pretty dated. There are only USB-A ports by the bed, and no USB-C or standard outlets by the bedside, which honestly in 2026 is a pretty big miss. The TV was also tiny, definitely less than 32 inches. It was slow to turn on, and the 20-channel selection was mostly cruise promos rather than actual networks. The bathroom was a little bit tight, but definitely serviceable. While the shower did get impressively hot, we did deal with a finicky drain that ended up being clogged. However, overall for the price that we paid, I would say it was a pretty decent cabin. Overall, I'm giving the Norwegian Bliss a letter grade of B. It's a beautiful ship with arguably the best observation lounge at sea, and the more at sea perks offer genuine value. However, the service inconsistencies and the dip in food quality keeps it from being a top-tier experience. I would recommend the Bliss if you find a last-minute steal where the prices are amazing, or if you're a solo traveler, as Norwegian is the industry leader for solo studio cabins. But if you're looking for best overall value for your dollar, you might find a bit more polish and a general better experience, especially on the food side, on Celebrity or Princess, maybe even at a similar price, especially if you book during the off-season. If you enjoyed this video, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Lost in a Good Place. Thanks for watching.